Hello everybody, Sergeant Soldier here, and welcome to the very first episode of our new ArmA 3 series, My Altis Life with Sergeant Soldier. Now, when I was first researching the game that I wanted to play, I decided to do what most of us gamers do when I go to YouTube. And I try to see what people are doing with their own YouTube channels to see what I could expect from the game. We all do it, it's okay. So in doing that, I actually found that there was a lot of videos ranging from between a year and 2 years ago about Altis Life, or the Altis Life Asylum server, which is what I'm playing on. There was a lot of information a year or two ago, but not a whole lot of information that's current. So with that being said, I noticed, hey, maybe there's a little bit of demand for this. Maybe I should do some videos on it, and just like with Rust, hopefully maybe they'll take off. Maybe not. We'll see. So starting off, we're going to do our very first episode on getting started in your new Altis Life. And as I said before, I am playing on the Asylum server, and it's a pretty popular server. There's always people capped out on it, so if you are interested in playing it, please feel free to do so. But if it's during peak time, you might have to wait a little bit. So when you first get into the server, you have to make a decision. Where are you going to spawn? Now personally, there's two choices when it comes to spawning, and they're right here. This right one here, or sorry, left one here, and the right one here. Now, these two towns, if I zoom in a little bit, the western left one is called Kavala. And sometimes the names overlap, sorry about that. This is Kavala. This is the most popular town. However, it is also the town with the largest police presence and also the largest occurrences of murders, which could be very, very bad for you starting out in the game. The other town, and which is actually my favorite, is called Pyrgos, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly, and I'm actually in Pyrgos right now. See? That says you. It's me. That's what the map looks like when you're on it. Basically, I'm going to take this tutorial and I'm going to go through it as I'm in Pyrgos. If you wanted to go to Kavala, all you have to do is just zoom out, go over to this side of the map, and basically apply everything that I tell you to over here. So starting off, pick your town. Now personally, I always pick Pyrgos because I like it. Pretty easy, right? So once you get into Pyrgos, there's a few things that you need to do before you actually start in your new life. And that is make sure that you're not going to immediately get killed. So let's actually exit the map and I'll kind of show you around town. Now, the very first thing you need to do is you need to find an ATM because you're going to start with a little bit of money. Now every server is different. They don't always start with the same amount of money, and sometimes there's more and sometimes there's less. I believe when I started on this server, it was around $1,000 starting out. And it's in your pocket. It's not actually in your bank. Which means that if somebody came over and capped you and put you on the ground, they could take your money away from you. So my recommendation for new players, especially on a server like this, to where they're going to shoot you, they're going to kill you and take your money, go to the bank and put at least half of it in your actual savings, which means you're only carrying $500 with you. So that being said, once you go ahead and do that, come over here. In this particular part of town, the ATM is inside the gas station there. It's also the DMV, pretty popular. Let me go over here and hide so these guys don't kill me. Hide. Crouch. Cute. Now, if you're over in Kavala, you have a couple different choices. So you have the DMV here. You have an ATM just north of that. If you come down to the south side, there's an ATM down here. I believe there's a gas station here, which usually has an ATM in it. There's a few different options. But you want to make sure you at least try your best to secure your funds, because otherwise people are going to take them from you. Now, once you have your $500 safely put away, go over this wall, go. You then go to your map, find where you're at, which we're over here in Pyrgos, somewhere, there we go. And you're going to want to go to the General Store and Gear Shop, which these are overlapped. It's going to be called the General Store Gear Shop. So by going to your map, if you hold shift and left click, it sets a little waypoint on there, which you rotate around, see right there, 71 meters. That's where we need to go. That's our waypoint. So hopefully these guys don't gun me down, and they didn't. Very strange. Now we're going to run over and we're going to go ahead and buy our gear. Now we only have $500 and we can't buy a whole lot. There's only one thing that you absolutely have to have in this game, and that is a backpack. Which is why that $500 really comes in handy. So you go to the general store, see here, no backpack, right? Okay. Go to the clothing store. There we go. Now there's a lot of different clothing options, and they're really cheap. Personally, I prefer... Where is it? This one. It's only $5. Bam. Buy. Buy. Oh, I don't have any money. So, after you do that, you can buy clothes if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it until you're making money. The one thing that you need to buy is a backpack. Absolutely must get a backpack because that's how you store the things that you're going to later sell in order to make more money. The bottom backpacks here, the Urban, the Khaki, and the Coyote, these hold more items. They have an inventory space of 96, whereas the ones up here are much smaller and you're not going to get as much out of them. They're cheaper, yes, but in the long run, it's better to spend that $250 up front and get a larger haul on your first haul than to have to make repeated small trips. So I don't have any money on me right now. I have a little bit in the bank. How much do I have? 23,000. Yeah, I got a little bit in the bank. But otherwise, we got our backpack, or we should at least. And then from there, you could decide one of two things. One, you could take your additional $250, put it back in the bank. Or two, there's a few different things you could do with it. Like I said, number one, you could buy clothing if you absolutely want to. If you want to make yourself look great, you could do it. Two, you go back to the ATM and you take an additional $250 out. You then use that $500, you go to the DMV, which, as we said before, the DMV was right here, the same space as the ATM, and you buy a vehicle license. Now, this isn't going to come in handy right away, because you don't have enough money to buy the vehicle. However, at least having the license... Oh, I got run over! What a jerk! Oh!
Alright.
Oh!
Broke my leg, son.
Welcome to the game. I gotta go. I gotta go. Okay, well, that is essentially ArmA 3 in a nutshell. If you're running on the road, you're gonna get ran over. Now, we're at the DMV, the ATM, the car shop, right here, right in Pyrgos. Pretty much every major town has one of these. You go to the ATM, you can either A, use your $500 and talk to this gentleman here, and he'll give you a license. Now, my character's already been on the server for a while, so there's a few licenses that are missing. The one that you would be looking for is the vehicle license, which is $500. Either A, you can get it now, or you can wait till later and save that $500 in the bank. So from there, once you do that, let's just say we're going to save the $500 for later. Basically, from here, we're going to have to talk about how to make money. And I don't want to go into much further depth in that in this video because that's going to be the actual topic of the next video. However, I can say once you have made a little bit of money, it's a really good idea to come back, buy that vehicle permit from this guy, the license, and then talk to this dude here, the car shop. In the car shop, there's a lot of different options, and they're very expensive, and they're not always the same price. So with the quad bike, it is an unlimited quantity, and the price is pretty much always $200. It has a relatively slow speed of 80 kilometers an hour, and a very, very small trunk capacity of 50, and it only carries one person. But if you're by yourself and you're making your very first money run, it's not a bad thing to get, and it's only $200. So if you destroy it, lose it, or somebody steals it from you, you're not out a whole lot of money. Once you make a few trips with your quad bike, then you upgrade to the hatchback. Now currently on our server, the hatchback is in high demand, so it's a little bit more money. However, as you can see, the max speed is 150, carries 3 people, and has a trunk capacity of 100. Your trunk capacity is what holds all your stuff. So an example, if you want to be a drug dealer and sell cocaine, there's only going to be so much cocaine that's going to fit in a trunk of 100, and it's going to fit even less in a quad. So as you go down the list, different vehicles have different things. The off-road handles really, really well off-road. The hatchback, not really. It needs to stay on the road. But the off-road has a max speed of 200 kilometers, has a 1-seat passenger seat, and has a trunk capacity of 150. SUV, the hatchback sport, and finally the truck. They all have different things, and you need to really look at them carefully in order to determine which one you're going to need for whatever you're doing. Now that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. From here, you've pretty much learned the basics that you need to at least get started. There's a lot more that I could probably show you guys in terms of how to use different things, how to use different keys, different functions of the game. I'll probably end up saving that for other episodes and kind of sneak them in. But I think right now we're at a good point. And for the next episode, we're going to start with making money, the legal way. And then we'll slowly progress up the money tree until we get into some less than legal means. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope it was really informative. For those of you that are starting out fresh on the game like I was... nope. Okay. Steam's not going to work. I think it was about 30 hours ago. Hopefully you guys learned something, and hopefully looking forward to the next episode like I am. So, Sergeant Solge, this was my Altis Life with me, Sergeant Solge, and we'll see you in the next ArmA 3 episode. Video thing. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you want to see more great content from Private Astro or myself, please hit that subscribe button and click on any of the videos above. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next Sergeant Solge or Private Astro video. Bye-bye!